What's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey, coming to you with the quickest um, Queen Sugar review. If you guys remember, I am down in Canton, Mississippi, visiting my grandparents for a few weeks. And y'all, it's the sticks, okay? Cow pasture. And the Wi-Fi is so iffy. It was very difficult for me to get my program to play. The buffering is real here. It's in 3D. It's like mega buffering. So I actually had to watch the program Queen Sugar a couple of times before I could get all the parts. And it was just sheer torture. But I love this show. I know it's going to be gone for 2 weeks. And I know I have you guys, subbies, depending on me to review this show. So let's get to it, okay? This is Queen Sugar, Season 1, Episode 7, In No Uncertain Terms, okay? The episode opens up with Charlie all curled up in a chair. Of course, she's devastated after last week's revelation and audio receipts on her husband being no account, low down, lying, cheating, disgusting, dirty, so and so. And, she's got to resolve some things. One of the main things she has to resolve is how she's going to tell her son why she don't want to be with his daddy no more. And she talks to Aunt Vi about it. Aunt Vi tells her he's a big boy, and kids nowadays are a lot more advanced than in the past. Just telling straight up. So later we see Charlie talking to Micah, and he asks her, why did you come back without Dad? And she tells him it's over. Our marriage is over, and he wants to know why. And she says, your dad's been paying for prostitutes for some years now, several prostitutes, or at least the one that we met with on yesterday. And so he's, of course, upset with his dad. He hates him now, and he feels some type of way about him. But he wants to know where they're going to live. And she says, well, I guess we'll live here. Well, how long? Until fall. Until harvest. He says, well, how long is that? And that's in the fall. And he's like, I have to take my SATs here, um, 6 months, but you wanted to come because of the whole paparazzi thing. So they all wanted it to go away, which is understandable. Obviously, every last, him, Charlie, Davis, all of them wanted to go away and things to go back to normal. And he just has to understand that things will never be normal with them again. So, that was a tough conversation for her to have with him. And he's a child. He can only be expected to, as mature as he acts, to be able to process so much, okay? So then we see Blue and Ralph Angel sharing a moment where Blue is at the kitchen table having his breakfast, and he's drawing, and Ralph Angel asks him if he's drawing him, meaning, are you drawing Daddy, you and Daddy? And he says, no, this is me and Mommy. Ralph Angel just kind of has like a little feeling about that. At that moment, there's a knock on the door, and it's probation officer Body. No, which I insist on calling him because he is boy. Oh, my. Yes, honey. Yes, the melanin. Come through, melanin. And there's always this moment, I think, for me and as well as Ralph Angel, where he views this guy as possibly a friend, because he's not like this butthole probation officer. But as soon as you realize, although he's not this egregious, obnoxious butthole probation officer, you and you start to feel kind of calm and kind of relax with him, he reminds you that he's there about business. And so, he kids with Ralph Angel when he comes to the door and says, "Hey, when you said you was on a farm, you meant you was on a farm." There was a moment of laughter and kidding. He, the probation officer, stops and talks to Blue, and it's very, very cordial with Blue, all of that, and uh, it all just seems like a harmless little visit. I mean, what else could it be? But it is a home visit, okay? So he reminds Ralph Angel of that, and Ralph Angel sends little Blue off to his room, and they get to talking, and he gets into it. He says, "Hey, he's got a room here." "Yeah." "Well, he's not sleeping here, is he?" Ralph Angel was like, "Yeah, he's my son." He was like, "He can't stay here. You don't have custody of him. Your Aunt Vi got custody of him. And until she signed custody off to you, sir, you cannot have legal guardianship according to code number 64923789110." Okay? So it brings Ralph Angel to this gripping reality that you know he's in serious. This is a serious issue for him. He also brings up Blue's mother. What's going on with Blue's mother? Well, she says she got a job with benefits and all of that, but we don't know. These things never last. Woo, woo, woo. And the probation officer says, "Speaking of job, what's going on with you and your job?" He said, "I got laid off." So probation officer say, So what really happened at that job? He was like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I got laid off." He was like, okay. Well, obviously, something went on because the police came by here. He said, "But the police didn't find nothing in my house." Okay. So the probation officer was like, He said, "Well, let me just fill you in on what went on down there. They done locked a whole bunch of people up down there because they had a theft ring going on with VCRs, cell phones, and laptops and whatnot." I didn't even know they let criminals work. I mean, convicts work around this type of stuff. But okay. Um, and the people facing 5 to 10 years. So Ralph Angel really, really, really barely made it through that. I mean, he broke even on his losing that $15,000 on that bad seed cane, but he almost lost it all. So the probation officers tell him, "Listen, in the light of the fact of all of that, and you didn't get in trouble, I'm gonna give you another opportunity, but you need to get a job. And you need to get the job fast." And Ralph Angel said, "I'm gonna work here at the farm full time." He said, "Wait, wait, wait. You got to have a tax ID number. You got to have workman's comp. You got to have benefits." I was like, "What the hell?" I know it's plenty of convicts that work at convenience stores and laundromats and all kinds of stuff, and you ain't gonna make me believe they got all these things. Maybe it's the state of Louisiana. It just seems like they're requiring um, the convicts to have a whole lot of stuff that regular Americans, regular middle class Americans don't even have. I'm like, well, hell, I might as well be a convict. Anyway, so Ralph Angel, he gives him the paper for Aunt Vi to sign over her custody. That's one thing he's got to get done. And the second thing on his list, he's got to get uh, Charlie to sign off on everything having to do with the job, him working there full time. And this is going to be a daunting task. So the next thing we see is Nova and Chantal, and they are in a Sappho journey to freedom. Okay, they are lovers. uh, and Chantal is on mocha caramel, soy, no foam latte, and Nova is black, no coffee, no cream. Okay, and they are together. The perfect early morning combination. All right, beautiful couple. Nova seems like she really into it. The girl tried to leave, thinking that Nova wasn't gonna want her there, but Nova told her, "No, you stay a little bit longer, and I want you to spend the day with me." Of course, she's very excited. She's very happy about that because She seems like she's had some experience with Nova, and Nova has probably been kind of standoffish, maybe, or she's reading her as kind of standoffish, which I think is a true read, because she seemed kind of surprised when Nova wanted her to spend the day with her. Um, but Nova says, I feel something with you I haven't felt in a long time, and that's freedom. Come on now, Nova. Now, you know you love Calvin. You do. And everybody know the person you rebound with after you've had a long relationship with somebody don't last. So I think low-key Nova might be a heartbreaker. And I think Chantal's setting herself up for heartbreak. But okay. Um, let's see here. Then we see Charlie, Remy, and um, Ralph Angel. And Remy reminds them there's a storm coming. Now, y'all remember in episode 2 or 3, I talked about there being a storm coming. You could just tell that there was a storm brewing there, and metaphorically or literally, we see now that a storm is a coming. Okay. Um, this is at the same time that Charlie, who's trying to pay for the fertilizer, realizes that after her card has been declined twice, that Nova has taken $10,000 out for a bail bondsman. She automatically thinks it's Charlie, but goes ahead and lets her know, don't even look over here. Okay. Then we see Charlie and Nova. Of course, Chantal and Nova in the garden getting high. And Charlie storms in, and she is mad as hell, boy. And she low key disgusted. Anything that has to do with sex or sexual relations is gonna be touchy for her for a long time, because her husband was caught up in such a filthy, disgusting sexual scandal. Okay, and so she looks at this Nova popping in and out of relationships as kind of, she looked down on it. I don't think she looked down on her for being a lesbian, but I think she looked down on her for being so sexually open. And not following the rules and the constraints and the confinements, because all of those things were broken in her own marriage, see? hmm hmm Okay, so Nova, you stole it, so you stealing money now? I did not steal any money. Well, that's very funny, because when I wanted to pay for all the funeral stuff, you think I got all this money to spend, but when I wanted to pay for the funeral stuff, you wasn't having it. You had all this money. You was good, okay? Um, that's fine. I understand that, but I didn't steal. Well, taking stuff without permission, Nova, is the very definition of stealing. We already know that Charlie is the condescending one, right? Nova brings up the $3 million, and Davis, that was a low blow, since this is very fresh and new for her sister. And Charlie, go ahead and let her know. Don't bring my family up, and don't count my money, which she had every right to do. The next thing we see is Blue and Michael playing cards, and Hollywood's coming home. Oh boy, you can tell that these boys really, Blue and Michael, look up to Hollywood, and they give him a big hug and a kiss. Of course, he's happy to see Aunt Vi, and he wants some time with Aunt Vi, okay, because he been gone a minute. Then we see Ralph Angel and Charlie, after she's going to see Nova, they meet at the diner, and he's talking to her about the fertilizer. The fertilizer guy's coming back uh, late on that afternoon, and he wants to have a talk with her, and she wants to know what now? What now? You need $10,000 for something else? You got the seed cane is messed up again, or he tells her, pump your brakes. We need a meal. We got to find a meal. Well, Dad's got a meal. Daddy had a meal. No, Daddy had to deal with the meal when he was producing cane. But because he stayed off producing cane last year, the deal was dissolved. So she is just like, I can't deal. So she tells him, he says, well, I'm going to find a meal. Don't worry, Charlie, I'm going to find a meal. Don't even worry about finding a meal. I'll take care of it. You just focus on farming. That's what you do. You farm. Like farming might be beneath her a little bit. in a tailspin of grief and anguish and anger. And, the family are the people you take all this out on, really, technically, right? Because they supposed to love you no matter what. So she's acting a real, real butthole to him. When he brings up the fact that he needs to have a job there, he wants to be hired on full time. She's like, pay with pay. What are you talking about? No, because uh, you know, you getting your money when we get the harvest. You a partnership in all of this. And he tried to explain. She's like, you know what? I'm sick and tired. She getting her $30,000 Hermes bag and taking her little money out. He's trying to tell her, no, I got it. I'm gonna pay for it. She's just throwing it out there on the table and talking and going off. She's not even paying attention to the fact that she is emasculating this man and being loud and like she is like Godzilla. You know what I'm saying? She laying waste to everything in her path, really. So, that was so embarrassing. I was embarrassed for him. Well, he goes over and talks to Roberta because she had been flirting in, walks Aunt Vi. He wants to talk to Aunt Vi. She dismisses Roberta. That she's so hoish. Dismisses Roberta, and he says, "I want you to give me custody of Blue." Well, she, no. But why? Let's talk outside. They go outside, and she then lets us know by telling Ralph Angel, listen, I just got rid of stolen cell phones. What would have happened if they had found them cell phones? And you had custody. That baby would have gone back to his mama. And she's the same woman that Hollywood found turning tricks in the shed with Blue sitting right next to her. Dehydrated, hungry, half near dead. So now we know why Ralph Angel is so angry and why Aunt Vi is so angry with Blue's mom. Okay? Now I get it. The horrendous things that she put the child through as a baby, which clearly he does not remember. Okay? Or he's fantasizing about it as opposed to, treating it as a tragedy. Of course, he's a small child. And Ralph Angel is perplexed and upset, and understandably so. But we see later that they both resolve this without even discussing it, because they know that her having custody of Blue is really in the best interest of Blue right now until Ralph Angel can get a hold of his life and and building a safe, steady, reliable place for him and Blue. Okay? So, we see Hollywood coming into Aunt Vi's house. He's coming in Aunt Vi's house. He's in full panic because he keeps getting these phone calls from his wife, Leanne. He's trying to calm her down. He's trying to tell her to just get it together. I told you, now that she out of the hospital, she can call him all day, every day. And that's what she doing. Well, he doesn't realize Micah is behind him, and he hears all of this. So, then we see Charlie and Remy. And Charlie walks up, and all he has to do is ask her how she doing. And she blah, 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 blah. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to divorce my husband, take him for everything. I'm going to leave this place. I can write checks from anywhere. I don't have to put up with this. A bunch of takers. And he lets her just get it all out. And as she walking away, he said, can I tell you something? Can I say something now? And she was like, yeah, go ahead. And he tells her, he said, listen, I'm sorry that this happened to you. I'm sorry that people are taken from you, and I'm sorry that you're hurt. But don't let nobody steal your joy. You're an incredible woman. Yeah, that's what he told her. And I know that just broke down that really hard place. At least chipped away at it for a minute, okay? And she tells him she's going to see him later on tonight because Hollywood is having a crab boil, a crawfish boil. Now, at the moment that she turned around and looked at him, she was caught between kissing him and believing him and looking at him affection. You could just tell she had a whole bunch of emotions in that moment. But it's a part of her that's going to take a lot to trust a man again. And as quickly as she felt these feelings, I think, whatever they were, however good they felt, she she pulled them back. I'll see you tonight. Okay, like whatever. Tell me anything. Be over my head to make me think it's me. Yeah, I'm an incredible woman until I'm not anymore and you're sleeping with prostitutes all up and down the street. Wounded people wound, okay? And bless her heart, she's a wounded little bird. Anyway, I thought that was really poignant of him. I thought it was just beautifully done, okay? All right. Let's see here. Okay, so we moved to Micah, Nova, and Chantal at Vi's house. Um, Nova asked Micah if he wants to go with her to NOLA because she is doing an interview with some artists there. And he was like, cool. Why wouldn't he want to get out of there? Again, no matter what's going on with her sister, they're all family. Okay, she realizes he's going through a lot. She loves the children. She invites him to go along. He asks Aunt Vi. Aunt Vi say, yeah. Then we see them all in NOLA, and it's a very socially conscious exhibit with socially conscious artists. And there's a lot of conversation that goes on about not only Trayvon Martin, but the gentleman from Fruitvale Station, Eric Garner, and a host of other black men that we've seen in the last year. I mean, we can't even say 2 years. I mean, year that have been, killed, 3 years that have been killed. And he, says, hey, I guess I haven't really experienced a lot of racism from police officers, I guess because of who my father is. And she said, wait, who are you? This Chantal, who are you? And who do you want to be? And he says, okay. See, this brings him to this place of selflessness, well, self-examination, where it's not all about me. And, hopefully his mom will see that. She doesn't in this episode, but hopefully eventually she will see that. Because she gets upset. She is blazing hot mad when she talked to Aunt Vi and find out that Nova has taken him to NOLA without her permission. And she is pissed off. Okay, she calls him, get home now. I want you home now. And when he does see her, he snubs her out. But she taking it out on him and she mad at his daddy. Okay. In between all that, we see Roberta, old hoish ass, come over to see Ralph Angel. She can't wait to get over there and ease herself in there. Of course, he needs to feel good about himself. So dealing with somebody in a real non-committed way is the best way to do that in his eyes. And, the conversation he had with her is indicative of her behavior. She comes in like a $2 tramp, and he treats her like a $2 tramp. Go get a shower and don't put nothing else, and don't put them clothes back on. And she goes to do it. And it's like the realization that there's some women out there that don't care how they treated. They don't care how they being talked to. They want to be run through. And there's plenty of men out there that take them up on it. She wounded and Ralph Angel wounded too. And they both too wounded to see how wounded they both really are. Boop. Okay. So, we're at the crab boil. Michael comes in, like I said. He grabs up Blue and snubs Charlie. Charlie goes to talk to Nova and kind of reprimand her for taking her son. And she hears Nova on the phone with Calvin and telling Calvin, I didn't tell you to leave your wife and all this stuff and woo. And so it's just at this moment that Charlie realizes that Nova has been messing with a married man. On top of everything else, you messing with a married man. Nova is like, I was messing with a married man. We broke up now. Okay, so y'all was together to break up, right? Okay. So Boy, I tell you what, it brought really Nova down a peg or two because she's had a real self-righteous, just like Charlie can be condescending, okay? And Ralph Angel got his ways. Nova has been very, very self-righteous. And the only reason she's been able to be self-righteous is because she's been able to keep certain things about her life and her lifestyle private. So now it's all exposed. And Charlie gets a chance to reprimand her on all fronts, okay? And it breaks Nova down a little bit, you know. So, um, Michael goes over and talks to Hollywood. Hollywood's trying to give him a little, you know, advice about how to talk to his mom and how to deal with his mom. And he calls Hollywood out about being a liar and not telling Vi about Leanne. Quite know who Leanne is yet, but he says to him, "Are you gonna tell Aunt Vi about your lying?" Now of course, Michael is very sensitive about this lying thing because his daddy has turned out to be a horrible liar. So Hollywood get his face cracked too. It's a lot of cracked faces in this episode. We see Ralph Angel come in. He and Vi have this moment of reconciliation that really took uh, just carrying on. It wasn't any egregious words, anything spoken about the situation. They just understood that what she was doing, keeping custody, was the best thing. We see Remy and Charlie, and he asks her if she's feeling better, you know, and he tells her, he said, "Listen, I know about grief. When my wife Charlotte died," he said, "I thought about packing everything up and running." And he said, "But you can't outrun the grief. Okay, it goes with you everywhere." He said, "You're going to get through this, but don't let grief chase you. Just sit with it and deal with it. Okay? And just know that your family wants the best for you. No matter their actions, they ultimately want what's best for you." Himself for a minute. And in that moment that he excuses himself, I can see the look in her face like, "Oh, wait, don't go. Oh." She liked this man. I do too. Okay, y'all. Aunt Vi and Ralph Angel out there playing cards, Hollywood doing his thing, everybody dancing, having a good time. This is a good old-fashioned Melanin revival in New Orleans. Zydeco and Crawfish and everybody having a good time. And who shows up? Leanne. Driving a car just as psychotic as ever, okay? She comes in and she is out of it. Is he here? Is he here? Is he here? Who you looking? Aunt Vi comes over to help her. "You all right? For baby, you lost? You okay? Let me help you, can I? And where's my husband?" Hollywood comes up. He don't deny her. He tries to clear it up, but he can't clear it up because Leanne is so out of it. She's over talking and she wants to make it clear, "This is my husband. Where is our baby?" Aunt Vi is like, "Baby, what is we talking about? We had a baby." Hollywood's trying to explain it. She's trying to, Leanne is talking. It's just a real chaotic moment. Leanne's over talking Hollywood. He's trying to explain to Aunt Vi. Aunt Vi's got questions. She looks confused. She's got confusion on her face. And he says, "No, when we first got married, she had a miscarriage. We was pregnant. She had a miscarriage, and she still hasn't gotten over that. She's bipolar." Aunt Vi's just trying to process it all. What's happening? I don't know. I was just having a good time, and my life has just changed so drastically in a few minutes. Leanne hauls off and knocks Ralph Angel in the head. Slaps Hollywood. And I thought Vi was going to peel her face off. I really did. He stops, Hollywood stops Vi because he knows that his wife is mentally ill. He tries to explain this to her, that she was in a hospital in Baton Rouge. So all this time you've been going up to Baton Rouge, you've been lying to me. This is what I say. All been lies. So you a liar. You got a wife. She is so stunned and she's so embarrassed and she is so confused when he tells her that he's gonna take Leanne home, take her home and come back. She tell him don't come back. Um, so he asked Ralph Angel to follow him up in the truck to take her back. Michael steps up and says, "Don't worry, Uncle Hollywood, I'll take care of Aunt Vi." See, they a family. They a family. And as he's turning to walk off with Leanne, Hollywood just breaks down and starts crying. He really loves Aunt Vi, and he would never want to hurt her. But he's a man with a lot of responsibility, and he's so torn. And I felt so bad. And we see Aunt Vi walk off, and she is literally stunned. Everybody is. The whole crowd. And it goes off. Now, we will not see this show again for 2 weeks. It will not be back until October 26th, which is good for me because hopefully I'll be better set up to do a better review by then. It was a good episode. I toiled to watch it in its entirety, and I hope you guys will like, comment, and subscribe. Please tell me how you felt about this episode. I'm eager to hear how you guys felt about it. Until next time, honeybees, I'll holla.